You're listening to Real Crime, the Movie Sleuth podcast.
What was that?
Did you just throw your phone down?
Yes, I dropped it.
Isn't that one of those really expensive iPhones?
She was like, I hate you, phone.
It's iPhone 6.
I hate you, phone.
Might as well.
So it's only worth like $900 now?
Yeah.
Excuse me, that's $694.75. Or if you go to GameStop, it's worth 75 cents.
Sorry, kid, ain't got a dime.
Yes. Your old Uncle Scott did battle at at Fort Mackinac this weekend. He was doing battle and he nearly lost his eye. I'm here, though. We talked about it outside for a minute.
When did you turn into a pirate?
Well, I don't
Yar!
Yar, your old Uncle Scott.
How did they
Yar.
talk back? I mean, how did they talk at Fort Mackinac, man?
Probably like French people.
I can't, dude. Every accent I do sounds the same. But yeah, I can barely. I'm
you
doing
cannot
better.
do French? French is easy.
All
come
his
on.
accents are just variations on pirate accents.
Yes, they are. They really, really are.
My Australian accent probably sounds more like a Frenchman than my French. Yeah, whatever.
Like a French pirate.
This is Real Crime. This is episode number 87. Wow.
Crazy. Yeah.
It's crazy.
We're going to be at 100 pretty soon.
It is crazy. What accent is that?
I don't know.
Pirate.
Borat.
The same as the rest of them.
The Fisti Me Unus, whatever. Whatever. All right, man. So yeah, we're all pretty pumped for this show, I think. But we have a lot of stuff to talk beforehand, of course.
This will be the greatest show ever.
Yeah. What about it? Let's talk about our amazing sponsors.
Our sponsors, well, we're bringing Sellerman's on starting the first week of July.
Hell yeah.
I just talked to those guys last night, so we're going to have a brand new sponsor. They're going to give us lots of info on their meadery, which I'm
Man.
kind of excited about.
Mead?
What's that?
Can we get free mead?
I'm sure we'll be able to get something.
Can we do like a marathon episode where we just like get...
If we can get free mead, my wife will actually care about this show.
Really?
Oh,
well,
yeah.
then we have to get some.
I'm sick of drinking water on this show.
Yeah.
Sellerman's rules.
Yep.
Dan and those guys are awesome. Their brews are the shit.
Yep.
The place is awesome. You have to go there. Hazel Park, right on John R. Road in Hazel Park, Michigan, man. Totally go down there and check that place out. There's lots of great shows, lots of bands play. They have comedy shows there, too.
Mm-hmm.
So there's all kinds of cool stuff to check
Yeah,
out.
yeah.
Along with some really great beer.
They're going to come on
And
next
meat.
month with us
Oh.
because they're huge horror fans, and there's a Friday the 13th in July.
Yeah.
So they're going to come on and do the Friday the 13th episode with
dude.
us. So
What do you mean they're going to come on?
they're going to be on the show.
They're
They're
gonna
going to
come on
guest
Chris.
on the show with us. Yes.
You're going to come on,
That'd be
Chris.
cool.
Yeah, they are.
Yeah.
I'm kind of...
Well, everybody comes on Chris, so that's not exactly a high water mark. Seriously, he beat the Houston 500 like
yeah.
decades ago.
Also, want to mention the Flint Institute of Arts. And, of course, wonderful projectorscreen.com.
Oh, yes.
So
Oh, man.
make sure to check them out. In news this week, not really much going on, but...
Slow week.
Yeah. Alex Kurtzman has been signed by CBS to a 5-year deal to develop a bunch of Star Trek shows. They're going to do some event series. They're actually going to do a new show with Picard, I just heard.
What?
And...
What?
Oh, yeah. They're bringing Picard back.
They're bringing Picard.
Ooh.
Yeah.
And the rumor is that they're actually pursuing Patrick Stewart to come back,
Oh, God.
Which would be awesome.
which would be amazing. My fear is that they're going to bring him back for one episode and have it all be young Picard,
Oh, my God.
which would still be pretty cool.
That'd be
Does that
cool.
mean they're going to have Tom Hardy?
That's what I was going to say.
That would be interesting, except for he's not exactly young
no,
Picard anymore.
everybody's old
No,
now.
it isn't.
Yeah.
Oh.
Everybody's like 90 now.
Patrick Stewart doesn't look old. He looks great.
He looks
still.
good.
Patrick
Yeah.
Stewart looks like Patrick Stewart.
He
did
doesn't
in
age.
1981.
That's like a guy that I've been saying this for years. That is such a guy that I would love to just spend a day with, and just
Oh, yeah.
hang, like
Oh,
just
yeah.
walk in a park, like anything, nothing crazy. Just walk and talk with this dude about life. Because
Did you ever watch William Shatner's documentary, The Captains?
Yeah. Oh, that was.
Oh.
Oh my God.
The only part that...
Mind-blowing.
Huh?
Go ahead. No, I said mind blowing. Go ahead.
Oh, it was great, except for Avery Brooks drove me insane with everything was a jazz metaphor. the entire time they were talking
Yep.
to him. Well, how'd you feel about that? And you start playing a riff on his piano. About like that. You're like, what?
Stop.
All right. All right. In other news, James Gunn came out on Twitter today and said that Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3 is actually going to take place after Infinity War.
Yep.
There was a lot of confusion about that. People were concerned about they were going to try and do something that takes place previous to Infinity War, but it's actually going to take place after that part of the time.
So is it like a Rocket spin-off solo story? Or
I'm
what?
not sure.
No. Well,
That's a joke because we know what happened in Infinity War. I don't really think that.
Yeah.
and
yeah.
I'm pretty sure we know what's going to happen in Infinity War 4.
Yes.
Pretty sure if you've read a comic that you know.
Yes.
Nobody's ever dead in comics ever.
Well,
except for Batman's parents.
I
Even they're not dead in
Even they're not dead.
Elseworlds,
Yeah.
like
yeah,
in the
well,
alternate world.
Yeah.
In other news, Robert De Niro is supposedly signing on to be a co-star in the Todd Phillips Joker movie.
Heard about that
Which
today,
is going to
or
star
yesterday.
Joaquin Phoenix.
Which is going to be a complete waste of everybody's time and effort.
Yeah, because DC just can't get it right.
Oh, no, it has nothing to do with DC as far as I'm concerned. It's if you're going to do a, what's his name, Jared Leto Joker movie standalone, you're going to do a Joaquin Phoenix standalone Joker movie. They have 2 Batman standalone movies in
Yeah.
production right now. It's like, can we get a little diversity in the DC universe?
There's more characters, guys,
yeah.
that we could use for movies.
Yeah.
There's so many great characters.
Yeah.
They just keep going back to Batman.
They have no creativity. Hopefully, Jeff Johns changes that.
I think something's got to change because they can't keep circling the well
Toilet?
like they are right now. It's just terrible. So, Courtney B. Vance, great actor. He has just joined Jordan Peele's new HBO show called Lovecraft Country. So, yeah,
Is that like an anthology thing? Or
I think
something?
so.
Okay.
I'm pretty sure. Jordan Peele is where it's at.
It is. Did you what? There's a movie that he's desperately wanting to make that I just saw.
Well, he's making a movie that he's kind of done some of the casting for already. I can't remember the name of it off the top of my head right now. But
Yeah.
even it had like a poster and everything already.
Yeah, his plate has amazingly gotten full. It's amazing what an Oscar can do.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right. In releases this week, we've got Jurassic World 2, another movie about dinosaurs.
I hate admitting this. I am so excited for that movie.
I'm gonna see it.
I loved the Chris Pratt Jurassic World. I loved that they made Dr. Wong the bad guy finally. I was like, wasn't he kind of the bad guy in the first one?
I've really not given them enough attention because I don't know why.
He's the
I just don't-
geneticist that created them.
Yeah, I know you're talking. Yeah, okay,
And then they're like, hey, let's make scarier dinosaurs. And he's like, all right, that's a great idea. like it didn't fail horribly 3 times.
Let's keep doing it.
Let's make the biggest, scariest dinosaur. And now they're going to do it, except for he's not the biggest, scariest dinosaur this time. They're actually just going for a slightly bigger, much smarter dinosaur. And that won't end poorly
no,
for anyone.
That'll be. I think historically that's been proven that a bigger brain is worse than bigger brawn.
Than a bigger
Yeah.
body.
Yeah.
And
Maybe I'll have to go
it's got
see it
Jeff
now.
Goldblum. I
Yeah.
mean,
Yeah.
Who's going
How
down the whole Bill Murray
Michelle's
route
excited
now? We're
about
starting
that.
to see Jeff Goldblum becoming
am.
this. We're starting to see Jeff Goldblum going to this rut now of becoming a meme upon himself, I guess, or a parody on himself.
He's been a meme.
I love
for
the
a
guy.
while.
I love him. I love him.
Yeah, what Michelle's saying. He has been forever.
Guy cracks me up.
He's kind of like Christopher Walken in that
Yeah.
he
Yeah.
plays himself
Damn.
and everything. Like Christopher Walken's just Christopher Walken. Everything he
Put
never
this dinosaur up my ass.
for 10 years.
That might be the worst Walken impression ever.
I don't care.
It sounded like a pirate.
Yeah. It was my impersonation of Scott doing Christopher Walken doing a pirate, putting a dinosaur up his ass.
So it's a close relative of Richard
It's
Gere.
the Tyrannosaurus Rex.
We need to turn this fucking podcast off right now.
Oh, you're making my eyes swell up again, dude. It hurts.
All right, and then we've got
hitting it.
the release of
Get
Distorted
his
this
dick
week.
out of your eye.
I have
All right, move along. Come on.
Distorted also releases this week. I have absolutely no idea what it's about. So
Stuff.
stuff. All right, so suggested viewings.
Stop laughing.
I'll start this off. I actually watched this movie last week. It was by the guy that did The Beyond that we saw at the Atlanta Sci-Fi Film Festival.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, it's
I don't
called
remember his name.
2000 Hazruf Dalul. Anyways, he had a movie come out with Katie Sackhoff in it. It's called 2036 Origin Unknown. Very much based in the same kind of themes and stuff as a lot of the sci-fi stuff we've been seeing lately, but it was actually pretty good. It was pretty good.
Katie Sackhoff in a derivative sci-fi movie?
Yeah,
I don't believe
imagine
it.
that. Yeah, yeah, but no, I'm gonna suggest seeing it. Very low budget sci-fi, but I dug it.
It's
So,
on VOD.
yes.
Okay.
Yep. The visuals in the end are really, really cool. So very much like Moon too. Basically, you know, a lone person being stuck alone on this ship by themselves with barely anybody to talk to except a robot.
And that's Katie Sackhoff?
Yeah.
That
And
sounds
could
great.
she hold it?
Yeah, she holds
Really?
it. Yeah, absolutely.
Wow.
Yep.
I would knock a roll like that out of the ballpark. I could do that in my sleep, man. I'd be like, oh, this is
Well,
where
the
I've always
problem
wanted
is
to be.
that you would literally do it in your sleep.
yeah.
That would be the movie.
Yeah.
Scott slept through it, guys.
All right, Michelle, it's all you.
I'm gonna go with First Reformed, which is the newest Paul Schrader movie, and it has Ethan Hawke in it, and he plays a priest that is kind of losing his religion, and he gets caught up with an environmentalist group, and it kind of starts distorting his views. It's very Taxi Driver-esque, which Paul Schrader wrote Taxi Driver, so that's probably why. But it actually takes a route I didn't think it would, and it goes into some surreal territory towards the end of the film, and it's really well acted, and Ethan Hawke is fantastic in it. It's kind of in limited release. I had to go to the Main Art, which is our art house theater, to go see it, but I think it should be getting a wider release. It's by A24, which is one of my favorite studios right now.
I can now say I have officially seen one of A24's movies. One.
I
and
see
I was
every one
so
that comes
much
out.
less than thrilled it wasn't even funny.
Really?
Like, that movie bored the crap out of me.
Which one?
It was
The
The Witch,
Witch.
right?
Oh, The Witch. You didn't like The Witch?
I hated The Witch.
Dude.
Like, I'm sitting there, everybody's like, this is the scariest movie of the last 15 years. And I'm
Well,
like,
that's
I'm
the
an
hype.
atheist.
That's the hype shit going again.
Well, my
They say
problem
that
is
about every movie.
I'm an
Yeah,
they
atheist that has no faith in anything whatsoever. Watching this, going, oh look, sad religiously devout people. Okay, that was
And an
boring.
evil goat.
Yeah.
And an evil goat.
Evil
yeah,
goat.
And butter.
yeah, that was so
Lots of butter.
terrifying. So,
How about you? How about you, man?
I'm gonna go with watched Predator 2 for the first time in a while today, and it still holds up. It still holds up, and
It's a gory.
I think
flick,
it's
man.
better than the first Predator.
in a lot of ways it is.
Wow.
In a lot of ways it is. It's a little bit more human than it. Bill Paxton was amazing in
Yeah.
it.
The chick from
and-
Colors was in that too.
and-
I forgot her name.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so were the entire LA Lakers. Nobody knows that, but all the Predators at the end of the movie that appear,
Yeah.
that was the LA Lakers of 1990.
Are you kidding me?
That's
I'm dead
amazing.
serious.
Damn,
The director was friends with them and was like, "Hey, can you guys come down to the set? I need tall people."
That's
And
fucking
they're
perfect.
like, "Okay."
Yeah.
So yeah,
Couldn't have worked out better.
yeah. So
Yeah.
and I mean the acting was okay. I mean it's not obviously
it's a
not
bit
an Oscar movie. It's a 90s sci-fi horror flick, but I mean it's still a hell of a lot better than I Come in Peace. If anybody remembers.
Yeah,
I
I,
Come
Yeah,
in
I
Peace.
do.
I have that movie.
I have
Do
it
you
too.
really? I need
Blu-ray.
to borrow it.
Yeah.
I need to borrow that.
It's also called, I think, Dark Angel.
Dark
or-
Angel.
is
They
the
had to
alternate
change
name.
the name in America because there's already 2 movies with the same
Yeah.
title.
Yeah. And then there.
What? Do you have one of them air freshener things
Yes.
down here? Are you trying
Yeah.
to kill me?
Yes.
Yeah.
Is it right next to me? Because
No.
like, I just was like, dude.
Yeah, no, it just suddenly got
It's just like
pleasantly stinky over here.
I didn't hear that trademark.
Ah.
No, turn it off now.
As it blasts me in the eye.
Well, that'll be funny.
Well, that'd be great. Then you
Yeah,
guys could match.
Always trying to be like me, dude. Took my
All right.
dad to see Tag on Sunday.
Yeah.
Enjoyed, and I'm not a comedy guy.
Yeah.
And I really should spend more time watching comedies because I always enjoy them.
Right.
And we had a riot. That movie is just such a, because we know
I've
it's
heard good things
it's
about it
based
from
on
everybody.
it's based on a real thing. Some guys had this trip where they were going for like 30, 20. I think actually it was 23 years. I think that's what the
That's
clippings
still
were.
a pretty good run.
And at the, I mean, I don't want to spoil it, but there are some things like at the end where these guys did tape some of this shit. So it showed some of the real footage in the credits.
brilliant.
And that's all I'll say. But the movie is so much fun. It's
Was
a
it?
riot, dude. I mean, it's just, I can't spoil anything, but go see it. You'll really enjoy it, dude. That was John Hamm. I mean, I've seen a bunch of his stuff. Was it Mad Men?
Yeah.
I wasn't a big Amber. Watched the hell out of that.
I
so
love
would
that.
See him.
I
I'd
could
seen him
not
just.
handle Mad Men.
I mean, I never was really a fan. I just Amber watched it all the time when it was on, and seeing him in these fun roles like this, it's really he can do it. He pulls it off. He's a great actor, and the whole film is just a riot. Go see it. You guys will really enjoy it. Go see it while it's in the box office. That's it for me this week. So what's next, Chris? What do we do now? While you type, what is this? Are you a host of this show? Or are you?
think
Yeah.
I think he's getting distracted easily. Yo, Adrian, what are we doing
Well, I thought you were
next?
doing a Russian for a second there.
No, if I was going to do Russian, it would sound
That's
Russian.
good.
Yes.
All
So-
of these are terrible accents.
You're a terrible accent.
What is this?
You're a terrible person.
You're a towel.
You're a horse.
So this
No,
week,
sir. I don't like it.
this week we are talking about the Rambo films. which
Yes.
all right.
Go Yankee blue jeans.
So, okay, I know this is gonna be a tough one for all of us. I think because I think we all have a lot to say about this. Just going on our discussions throughout the week
Yeah,
and just kind of us going back and forth on this. So this is gonna be one of those ones where it's gonna be a battle royale.
Yeah, we have not been quiet on social media about this one.
No, we have. Well,
No.
no.
'Cause I think all of us were kind of excited that we're doing Rambo. So
Yeah.
And it's that's what I like doing this podcast because I really have had it. Films that I didn't give enough time when I was younger, and films that maybe I did. Even going
Yeah.
back and Michelle, I know we've discussed this thing where it's fun to sit down and just do homework
Yeah.
on this
Yeah,
stuff, right?
yeah.
And I'll open this up by saying first and foremost, I fucking hate Rambo. I fucking despise these films. Now we're gonna omit First Blood from that comment.
Yeah.
Okay?
First Blood was surprisingly a masterpiece.
First Blood is incredible. So, I mean, I don't know how we want to approach this thing. That's just my take on this thing.
Well,
We're all gonna,
chronological order. We could just.
chronological.
I like chronological.
Okay,
Yeah.
there's only 4 of these. So,
Yeah.
Yeah, this
Yeah.
is a quick short.
so let's start with First Blood then. Okay. Here, Chris, you
well,
take the
I
floor.
think, the most important thing about First Blood is that it's not just an action movie, that, the context is
dude.
PTSD.
Yeah.
That, he really is not,
up, man.
he's not right. And,
no, he is a broken person.
And really, the messed up thing is that, he's looking for something. He's looking to go home and be comfortable somewhere. And the movie opens with him finding out that his last friend from Vietnam died from cancer.
Yeah.
And then,
Agent Orange.
Yeah, from Agent Orange. And then 5 minutes later, cut away to Brian Dennehy fucking with him. He was not in the right frame of mind there either.
He was upset.
Like, he was upset. And then you have this small town hick sheriff. Like, we don't like your kind here. That American flag isn't going to go over well in this town. And that actually really struck me this time when I revisited this. I watch all 4 of these movies usually like on an annual basis. This time it really struck me because it's really kind of sad. Like, dude was in Vietnam. He served the country. It was a bullshit war, all that aside. But he comes home and then he's treated like trash.
Those guys, and I'm sure everybody in this room. Well, hell, Michelle, you were in the military.
So was I.
Okay, I didn't know that. Yeah. I don't know what your situations were like, but I personally know guys who were in Vietnam. I've worked with guys like that, and these are guys I still know to this day, and they carry a lot. Even 10 years ago, they carry a lot of animosity. They're fucking pissed, man.
Yeah.
and I have a friend that actually works. He's he's got a master's in social work from U of M. Ended up moving to Florida, and he works for the VA. And in confidence, and obviously we've discussed some of these things he's had to talk to people about.
Yeah.
I'm like, this is heartbreaking, man. And these are people like young kids coming back from the last 10 years, and it's mind blowing. Because at my age, and it's another piece of First Blood. Where a lot of these guys came back or coming back now who were in charge of massive things, like these huge jobs they had, and they come back here and they can't function. They and that's one thing I noted down here. Maybe I'm jumping ahead a little bit, but there's an actual quote. Back there, I could fly a gunship. I could drive a tank. I was in charge of $1 million equipment. Back here, I can't even hold a job parking cars.
That is a very real thing. Because,
very real.
A lot of times what people don't understand, and the recruiters don't really tell you this, is there's not a lot of one-to-one jobs when you get that you can do in the military, and then when you get out you can do that same job. So you'll be super qualified for this really specific technical job in the military, and then when you get out there's no civilian equivalent. Which is why I chose air traffic as my job in the military, because it has a civilian equivalent.
Yeah, yeah.
So when I
That's
got
why
out,
I chose my MOS too.
yeah, it was so I can transition. But obviously, A, not everybody gets a choice of what job they have.
Yeah.
B, not everybody knows. Some people join the military just like, give me whatever you got. They don't, I mean, you're 18 a lot of times. You don't know any better.
Yeah.
I was lucky that I come from an Air Force family. And so my mom and my dad were both in the service. And my mom sat me down and, spelled it out to me what I should do for my career.
Yeah.
But not a lot of people have that. A lot of people.
No, I didn't. I totally didn't.
Yeah.
But I had the ASVAB scores where they were like, what do you want to do?
That's what happened to me too, actually.
So, yeah, I did the ASVAB. It was in like the 99th percentile. And they're like, the only exclusion you have is nuke tech. Like, anything else in the Navy,
like a pretty rad job.
can do. Nuke tech is actually the worst job in the Navy.
It?
It is the dudes who live in boomer subs.
Ooh.
And so you're out at sea for 12 months.
Oh, that's sucky.
And then
I live in a tube.
It's the hardest job that there is. But I ended up becoming a medic. And because it had the one-to-one. It turns out it doesn't if you're in the Navy.
Oh.
None of my qualifications, nothing counted towards civilian life. So
wow,
I was a certified EMT. I was a certified ER nurse. All that kind of stuff. I got out, and all of a sudden I was absolutely nothing.
So you can identify, and the thing that's what bummed me out, and I wasn't even in the military.
Yeah.
But seeing that, and just again, at least coming from my viewpoint of knowing a lot of people who are going through the same thing right now, right? Yeah. But going in, so we got that part established. That's kind of the belly of this movie, as far as John Rambo as a character, as a man coming back from the war. Now,
but that isn't actually what it was in the original draft of the movie, which
was
is really interesting. The original story of the movie is that the sheriff is actually a Korean War vet and feels like his war was completely forgotten, and these Vietnam vets came back and eclipsed them. And so he has this level of jealousy while not understanding the trauma that all these
like some
Vietnam
kind of vendetta
vets
as a POW.
So
yeah.
So not realizing the trauma that a lot of the Vietnam vets came
fucking
home
with him
with.
based on that.
So he's pissed at him because here's this young Vietnam vet, and he was actually a decorated soldier in Korea. Mm-hmm. If you watch the movie in the sheriff's office, they show a shot. In the back of his office on the wall, you can actually see his metal display case. And he actually has a ton of medals that aren't, like, he has a Purple Heart, he has a Silver Star, he has, like, you name it. The sheriff.
Okay.
And so that was actually the original, that's the plot of the book. That's the plot of the 3.5 hour edit for the movie that was originally shot that Stallone was trying to buy from them so that he could throw the whole movie away and have it never released.
Really?
He hated the movie, the way it was originally shot and originally edited. And then they were like, no, we're not selling it. It's a big movie. This is going to do well. And he was like, well, here's what you have to do. If you're going to do it, minimize my appearance in the movie and make it about everybody else's, how everybody else is impacted by me in the movie instead of it being about me.
Okay.
And so that was
Still about him, though.
But it's really not. Rewatch it.
I will.
Literally, Stallone is not the main character of the movie. The cops are. Troutman is. Everything around him.
Yeah.
I mean, he's the main character because everything's focused on him. But the story is told through everybody else.
Well, I think it's kind of trying to, also shine a light on the system that is failed Rambo, because it's not really about Rambo. It's about the system that failed him, and there being no fail-safe for him. Because even now, maybe just the last 10 years or so, they really started giving people transitional stuff when you get out of the military.
Yeah.
Before, when you'd get out, they were just like, bye.
I got out, and it was like
nothing. There's nothing for you. And a lot of times, I'm trying to think of the word, you're institutionalized because the military is so regimented. Like, when I got out of the military, I didn't know how to do health insurance. I had no idea how to do that.
Why would you?
I was in the military since I was 18. And then I got out, and I had no idea how civilian life worked at all because the military took care of everything for me. Yeah. And, so couple that with being a POW like Rambo was in that war situation, and then there's no safety net for him. There's no medical stuff. There's no mental health.
Everybody cares about his dead except for his dad.
Yes. And he comes home, and the one person that could understand him on any sort of level, which is another vet, is dead.
He's gone.
So he's
got nobody.
He's got nobody. He's just drifting through life, like, metaphorically and like actually
and literally
literally in the town.
Yeah.
So then the cop, pulls up to him and is like hassling him because Rambo kind of represents this aspect of society that they want to sweep under the rug, a war we lost, damaged people that came home, and they don't want that kind of thing in their town, because what do we in America do? We sweep all that shit under the rug. We just want to see the flashy boom explosion win the war side of war. We don't want to see the broken remains of the war.
Like look at Desert Storm. That's all we saw.
Yeah.
Was, hey, look at how great our missiles are.
Look how explodey stuff.
Yeah.
And then people will come
our
back
missiles hit their targets every time.
And then people came back with that Iraq War syndrome and shit, like all the stuff, and like from the burn pits.
I remember
shock and awe.
Yeah.
I remember
that was the term, shock and awe.
I remember when I was in the Navy and I was working around at the Great Lakes Naval Hospital, and we would get guys with Gulf War syndrome that would come in, and they would drop dead. Like drop dead. Like you're like fairly functioning, seems a little sick, and then gone.
Boom.
And it was terrifying.
Operation Desert Storm. I'm just that was almost 20 years ago now.
Yeah.
I remember, and I may get beat up for this, but I remember that vividly. I was just starting college, right? And this was going on. Actually, it was right at the tail end of high school for me, I think.
Desert Storm,
yeah.
that was
92.
It was 92.
Yeah, my mom got deployed for that.
Oh, my God.
She was in the Air Force.
If you guys remember the promotional.
Do you remember the trading cards?
Yeah. Okay. They and remember, these colors don't run. They had all these sweatshirts.
Oh,
and they sensationalized the hell out of this thing, right? And I remember I was just starting college, and we were, I don't know what class I was in, but this is one of the things I remember from that. We were discussing like marketing. It was something with business. And I'm like, is it right for people to market a friggin' war like the way they're doing with all these?
They've always done it.
The sweatshirts and these colors don't run.
They've always done it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's something I pointed out when I was younger. And unfortunately, and I didn't mean to hurt her. I didn't mean for it to come out this way, but there was a young lady in our class. It was in my class there who her boyfriend was deployed, right? And she didn't take too happy to my, and I wasn't like, fuck those people. I mean, I get the utmost respect for the soldiers, but I was like, I don't understand this piece. And she flipped, to the point where she actually came back and smacked me in the head. I
don't blame her.
She got really mad. You don't blame her?
To a certain level, like, if it's somebody that you love that's over there.
Oh yeah, well in that case, I get
mean,
that. And that wasn't my
Yeah.
intention. It was an observation on that.
Yeah, no, but I mean, I can see people being like
Hell
pretty
yeah.
sensitive about it.
Hell
you know,
yeah, totally. And I mean, I didn't take. I mean, even that I wasn't like,
I'm not
I'm gonna
saying
fight you.
I'm not saying I would slap you upside the head for it, but I could see why she.
No,
would.
I totally got it, but I was like, I'm not. It's not against your boyfriend. It's an observation of this whole thing of like, why are we doing this? These kids, we know the ugly side of this, but it goes back to what you guys were saying. There's just been always been this sensationalization of that, of all the, look at all this, look how great we are, and look at we're spreading democracy. And I mean, it's whatever. I mean,
It's interesting because there's this disconnect between like what's actually happening in the war and then what the media portrays.
Well, that's my point.
Because I was deployed to Iraq.
Yeah.
And I worked the planes that would go do the bombing runs.
Yeah.
And we had like call them kill boxes, and I would actually like graph out and box out like areas, and then I would clear the aircraft and they'd go in and like murder stuff in it and then come out of the kill box. And then I would see on the news, you know, oh yay, we did this and this, and I'm like really thinking like that was like where just civilians were and stuff. Like that's why I got out of the military actually, because I didn't want to be a cog, at least more of a direct cog in the war machine. I still am because I work for the military still, so I'm still part of it. But I just felt like, you know, I kind of had more blood on my hands than other parts of the other parts of the cog. But it's interesting, like, you know, everybody wants to see all the flashbang. We blew up this many people, like, you know, almost like we're playing Call of Duty, which is even more so because we have drones and stuff now that can go out and attack stuff. So we don't even have to fucking actually physically go in there to kill people now. Yeah. And, you know, and I feel like...
As opposed to...
Yeah. And Rambo represents the part that we don't want to see. Rambo's the guy that came back, you know?
Yeah, nobody wants to deal with the return.
Yeah, you don't want to deal with that guy. You just want to hear about Rambo, the decorated war person, and how many confirmed kills he had. You don't want to hear about Rambo, the guy that can't function on a on a very basic level, that has nobody to talk to and everybody he knows is dead.
Yeah. And this character, and this is one of the things I noted down here, this is why I do love First Blood, because John Rambo in this movie, the character, Sylvester Stallone,
I don't know who that is.
It's a very dark character. You can see it in his expressions. He's emotionless, you know. And
he's not. That's not what I say.
He's outwardly emotionless, but inside he has extreme
that's
turmoil.
what I'm saying. The first part of the first act of the film, when, you know, before all hell breaks loose, right? He's just this kind of deadpan, emotionless person. He don't say too much in the first like 15, 20 minutes of the movie. He don't say much at all. And he keeps getting pushed. And he even said it to the sheriff. He's like, "Why are you pushing me, man?
Yeah.
Why are you pushing me? Why are you pushing me?" Right?
Yeah.
And he literally takes him out. Here, I'm going to drop you and get you.
I'm going to
sweeping him under the rug.
Town.
Right? I'm going to get you out of here.
Yeah.
And he turns around and says, "No, you can't. I'm John Rambo. You can't take that shit."
Yeah.
But and that's when we see, you know, David Caruso get his ass kicked.
Which makes me so happy to look back and watch that.
What's that, Michelle?
He's so young in that movie. I forgot he was in it, and I was like, "Oh shit, it's David Caruso."
Yeah, very young.
He's like 13.
But there's this element we see. This is a gritty film.
Not wearing sunglasses.
Yeah. the only role.
There's a darkness about this character, and that's why I love John Rambo in First Blood. And I guess, you know, for getting back to the movie itself, one of the things I threw down here too, Ted Kochev, I can't pronounce it. Kochev, thank you. His direction in this film I thought was brilliant. The whole forest scene, where literally in a span of a couple of minutes we watch John Rambo unleash his little plan he set up with all these traps, and we watch all these cops get their asses handed to him, literally. And at the end of it, Rambo runs up to the sheriff and says, "I could have killed all you guys.
Yeah.
I could have killed all you guys. I know out there," because he said that, "Here, I'm the law," right? The sheriff.
I'm the law.
He's like, "Out there, you're the law, but in here, it's all me." Yeah. Something to that effect. And I'm like, that's the coldest shit ever, right?
Oh, yeah.
And he's like, you know, it's like, it was all true.
Well, the problem...
It's shot like a horror movie, too, that whole
yeah,
entire
totally.
sequence.
Yeah.
Like, he's basically like, you know, they're falling into his traps. He is the predator.
Yeah. I mean, he had it all set up. He knew exactly what to do. And it was all done. That's the beauty. It was all done by hand. Like, he just did that.
Whittled some wood and
And
boom.
Whittled some wood.
As the film progresses, we learn, why and how he can do all that because he is the ultimate killing machine.
Because that's what he was trained
He's the
to do.
ultimate soldier. He can survive anything. He don't have any emotion when he's in the field. He's impervious to weather. Weather don't even
Well, Troutman, I think.
Yeah.
I love Troutman. Like, he is. It's funny, if you really pay attention, Troutman's the bad guy of the movie.
You think so?
You think so?
He is. He is the creator of Frankenstein's monster.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
He is Dr. Frankenstein. The sheriff is a product of society, but the person who turned Rambo into what he is and
it's Troutman.
made
100% right.
made him the helpless guy that he is in society is Troutman.
Yeah.
And Troutman comes in just to warn everybody, hey, I created this monster. He's going to kill all of you.
Yeah.
Like, I mean...
But he did warn him, like, look, guys, here's the deal. Stop fucking around, man. You guys do not know what you're messing with here. I'm telling you.
Yeah. Well,
But there are parts... the whole cave sequence is like freaking. I can watch that over and over again. The whole cave sequence with John Rambo trying to find a way out of this mine that they blew up.
Oh yeah, that randomly has a crap load of rats.
Oh my God!
Oh, that scene.
Oh, that was horrible.
But that scene actually cracks me up if you pay attention to it. He turns a corner.
Mm-hmm.
They show his back clearly when he turns the corner.
Mm-hmm.
Nothing on his back. Then all of a sudden, the next edit, he's walking down a straight line. There's no rats in the water, but he has 5 rats on his back. You're like, where the hell did those come from? It's the world's first teleporting rats.
But after that scene, Sheriff and Troutman are having that drink.
Yeah, and Troutman knows.
He knows
Rambo
what's
lived.
going. He knows that he's going to get out.
He saw the fire.
Yeah.
He saw the smoke.
Yeah.
Yeah, and so Troutman's like, "Oh, you did such a great job of killing him. Congratulations, you win." And it's like, dude, Rambo is going to come kill everyone now.
Yeah.
Like, you've cornered him. That's what he's going to do.
And he completely comes unhinged after that.
Well, it's
But
funny
Troutman lets it happen.
because Rambo actually tries to give up after, like, right after all that stuff with
He did.
when he tried when all the cops fall into his traps. He's like, I want to give up, and then like. The sheriff's got the old alpha male shit going.
Oh,
He's like, no, I gotta fight you.
I'm gonna
wait a minute,
kill you.
Michelle.
You're on my shit list.
Wait,
Like
Michelle, I don't mean to cut you off, but when there was a scene before that when the first cop falls out of the helicopter,
Yeah.
he comes out and says,
that's what I'm
"Guys,
talking about.
was that after all? No, I thought that
was
Oh, well,
that
I
was
got-
on the riverbank.
Sorry,
But
I got the
he come out
placement
with
of
his
it wrong.
hands up and said,
Yeah.
"Look, there's a cop dead down here. I didn't kill him. I don't want any more here." And I think they fired on him.
They shot at him like 5 times.
Yeah, and
he's retreating, going, "Oh crap!
That's the scene
oh
I'm
crap!
talking
I
about.
don't want to do
Okay,
this."
yeah, and he
that's
he
such a
legitimately
great
did
scene.
try to
Yeah.
he did try to surrender to
Yeah.
the cops.
He's still human. I mean, that's what's interesting, is that the harder they push, the less human he becomes.
Yeah. Yeah,
Until finally he snaps at the end,
basically
and you
burns
get
the
that
whole town
speech. That speech is, I still think, one of the best pieces of
what does he
writing
do?
Stallone has ever done.
And what does he do at the very end of the speech? He goes down on his knees basically to Troutman and hugs him like a little
well,
child.
you know what he did originally?
In the original one, he kills himself.
He shoots himself.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
The original cut, he shoots himself.
I've never seen the
Yeah.
original cut.
But
Alright,
it
It's a
tested
deleted
really
scene.
bad.
Okay.
It's a deleted scene on
I
a lot
literally
of the DVDs.
I told you I don't like the except for First Blood. I don't really like.
Yeah.
these.
It
It's weird.
tested really, really
But
bad
look-
with
well,
audience.
yeah.
Look at how great this movie is, though, because we're going back and forth here, and there's all these, point counterpoints on this thing. Like there's just there's a yin and a yang to all these things.
Yeah.
Well, he's a human, but he's not human.
Yeah. Well, it was
It's
a really well-crafted movie.
Yeah, it's a complicated person.
Yeah.
John Rambo is.
And we'll get back to that amazing version of John later,
Okay.
because, I mean, frankly, we've covered Rambo
Yeah.
or First Blood.
I think we can. Well, I
I
didn't
mean,
want to.
honestly, we could do 2 hours just on First Blood.
We could. I think I
I'm
wrote
pretty
this
sure all of
down.
us could.
Yeah.
I wrote this down briefly. I said, First Blood ends with John Rambo as a broken man with little faith in humanity,
Yep.
with with probably less than he already had.
Yep.
that's really how I observed that film ending. And us know, that's when he was surrendered, and when he walks out, we know how it ends. So yeah, I guess let's move on to
First Blood Part 2.
Yeah, Rambo.
So the dichotomy between First Blood and First Blood Part 2 is one of the craziest tone switch change
Right?
subtext
Oh, yeah.
Thank you.
I've ever seen in my life. Like
It's
it goes
bizarre.
from a sobering portrait of a man broken by PTSD and failed by the system to so at the end of
All
the
of
first,
a sudden, I'm okay.
well, no, at the end of the first movie, he's all fucked up. So in the second movie, instead of taking him to some sort of mental health facility or something, they put him in a fucking work camp.
Yeah.
Right? So he's in a work camp, and then they come in and like, hey, you want to get out of this work camp that we kind of put you in because we failed you in the system?
Right.
And then we want to send you back to fucking... What?
Vietnam.
None of that
Let's
makes
send you
sense
back to hell.
on like a narrative level.
Let's
It's like-
send you back to the exact place that fucked you up.
Well, I
The
mean, I
place
always
that you
say
call
that
hell,
that
John
Rambo
calls home.
Yeah.
I always think that the second film ironically proves the point of the first film
Oh, yeah.
because the first film is about a broken man and the system that fails him and how we as Americans ignore the what's behind the curtain for the flashy stuff, and then they just make a second film that's about all the fucking flashy stuff that made Rambo into the person he was in the first movie. But
Yep.
nobody cares. They're just like, yay, Rambo smash stuff. It's
Well-
fun. I mean, I like the movie on an
The
action
movie's
level.
fun.
It's fun, but it just kind of. Now that I'm looking at them from more of
Tonally,
a critical
it's so
perspective,
bad.
like instead of I'm actively watching it instead of passively like I was before. It's just kind of sad that that's what they did. I mean, I guess. I mean,
Absolutely.
the movie by itself isn't like an affront to nature or anything. It's fun. There's explodies and shit in it, but it's just.
There's some really good explodies.
But it's just like, man, like, did they not realize what they were doing? Well, it's
Yeah.
funny. I actually watched the behind the scenes, and the director was like some German dude, and he was all like, "I didn't want to make a political film. I just wanted to blow stuff up." And I was like, "Well, all
Well,
right,
you did it.
You did it.
Mystery solved."
And it's the same guy that directed Tombstone, so
Really?
Which
Yeah.
is really weird because
Yeah.
Tombstone
Lots of
was,
explodey boomies in that too.
yeah, but Tombstone was a lot better movie.
Yeah,
that was a
Tombstone's a kick-ass
fantastic
movie.
movie.
yeah.
I've noted down literally in the course of this film, John Rambo goes from being this dark, deep, mysterious force to a cartoon character. That's
Well, yeah, then
literally
he
how.
literally became a cartoon character.
Yeah, I think they made a
after this
cartoon.
movie.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, this is.
Yeah.
I mean, this
I
movie
loved
to me,
that cartoon.
and that's why I know when I was younger. Now, I think it was my upbringing too. I didn't come from a military family, and I came from with a mother, honestly, who frowned on that stuff. She didn't
mine
want me to
too.
go. She didn't want me to go in the military.
Mine
I
didn't
never got
either.
GI Joes when I was younger, for example.
Oh, I
My
did.
mom would never buy me
My
GI
mom
Joes.
hated that stuff too.
My mom would never buy. So
I got
I mean,
toy guns and GI Joes
so
galore.
we see we see Rambo, and it's it is very much this machismo character in the woods. We know the whole trip. Other points here. I hated Marshall Murdoch, played by Charles Napier. The second I saw him, I mean, that was one of
Oh,
those
yeah.
instinctively. I'm like, that guy's a prick. He's a fucking
Charles
asshole.
Napier always looks like a prick.
Yeah, he does.
Yeah.
He's just got that look on
He
his
just
face.
has that kind of scowly, like, used car salesman grin. Whenever he smiles,
Yeah.
you're like, oh, this dude's trying to sell me
He's a
something. I
Character
really
actor, and he
don't
always
want.
played the same character.
transparent as hell, man.
Yeah, but he's really good at it.
Yeah.
Which does lead into one of the coldest scenes in the movie, when the helicopter just leaves Rambo and Banks
Oh,
to
yeah.
be captured.
With John Kreese as the pilot.
Very, very Platoon. Like that made me, made me think of Platoon. Like
Yeah.
not
Made me
nearly as
think of-
dramatic.
Yeah.
we do get that shot in Rambo where the helicopter takes off and we just see all you just see them all just piling in. It's like, dude, they're
Converging.
fucked. They're fucked, man.
But I knew that the chopper pilot was going to be a douche the minute I saw him, and I'm like, oh, look, he runs Cobra Kai.
Yeah, I was.
Yeah.
I knew it. I knew it a second. I knew the second I saw it.
Then he ends up not being too bad. He's actually kind of on Rambo's side.
What would be-
Kinda.
Hey, good to see you. Boo. That's
Oh,
at
I
the-
love that.
Knocks the
I
shit out of
loved
him, dude.
that.
Just knocks
That
the
was great.
hell out of him, man.
No, the things that bothered me with the movie was that they end First Blood so spectacularly.
Yeah.
And then this one picks up literally the opposite. Like all of a sudden,
Get out the
Rambo
baby
is
oil.
healed from doing manual labor. Like breaking rocks somehow has cured his PTSD.
Because that's manly.
because it's man stuff. Although from your post on watching it, didn't somebody say that they did a version of it where it actually opened up in a psych hospital?
Yeah, apparently
Really?
James Cameron did a script for Rambo 2.
Yeah.
That I'm not sure if they I guess they used some of it, not all of it, and they redid a lot of it. And in his original script, it starts out with John Rambo in a VA mental hospital where they go get him and say, hey, let's go get our boys back. Like, which makes a little more sense to me.
It makes a lot more sense.
It makes more sense that, like, oh, well, this is how Rambo's getting closure. That makes sense. Rambo feels like he left part of himself back in Nam. Let him go back to Nam and finish his business. That makes more sense
than much better movie.
Than, hey, it's either you smash rocks or you fucking go to Nam. Like, that's the only two options. Like, that doesn't, that seems
break
less,
rocks or break people.
Yeah. It's like, yeah. It would have made sense thematically if they had come to the mental hospital, had maybe like a little talk with them, not just like a 2-minute exposition dump behind a fence, and they try to make it all artsy, like, oh, Rambo's on this side of the fence and the fence is splitting the frame and he's over here and whatever. And then they have the I can't remember the actress's name. She's a good actress. I've seen her in other things that plays the
Julia Nixon.
Yes. Wait, is that the Asian?
Yeah.
Asian
the chick they fridged?
Yeah.
What?
Yeah, they totally fridged her.
Oh. Okay.
The Green Lantern reference.
Yeah.
Why does Rambo need a love interest?
He doesn't.
He doesn't.
That's why she only was in love with him for like 2 minutes.
Yeah.
Well, she was in love with him for about 25 minutes of the movie.
Okay.
Like you could see her.
He was in love with her for about 2 minutes.
Yeah. He finally realized, oh, I still have emotions. And then she's dead.
He's like, you remind me of all those people I killed in the Nam.
He said Rambo falls in love literally for like 3 minutes with code
Yeah.
before she gets blown away.
Yeah.
Further making Rambo lose faith in humanity.
I mean, honestly,
Really?
the writing in Maximum Overdrive was better than the writing in this.
So that really was a curveball in the film. Like
It was. The whole thing was.
Well, I guess
bizarre.
we knew it was coming. Like, okay, we can tell. Yeah,
Oh,
you
and
said
the
the
minute
puppy
they-
dog eyes.
The minute they showed her, you're like,
Yeah,
really?
she's gonna be getting some
Really?
hoagie from somebody in this.
And
movie.
then when he first brings up her good luck charm Buddha, Jade Buddha,
Yeah.
I'm like, oh, he's gonna be wearing that by the end of the movie.
Yeah.
Like, there's no doubt. Like, she's dead.
And
you
then for
know
2
she's
more
dead
movies.
because it's a late 80s action movie.
yeah,
So you know she's dead because that was all women were used for in action movies, was to be victims or motivation.
It's kind of funny because, not really getting started on Rambo 3 quite yet, but it is really funny. The box office on these movies, Rambo, First Blood 2,
Rambo is huge.
It made like $150 million domestically. Rambo 3 made like $45 million
Because
domestically.
nobody cared about Afghanistan.
Yeah. Yep.
I mean, it's really come.
I mean, they try to make it relevant with, like, Russia and stuff, but...
They tried, but Russia was such a tiny part of the movie that it was just like, oh, look, Russia's funding some of these guys we don't like.
Do we want to move on to Rambo 3?
Yeah, we can.
I think Rambo 2 kind of resonated the most out of all the movies, but came out at the perfect storm. It was like Reagan era. Like, it was like the perfect poster boy for, like, rah-rah war America Smash things.
Yeah.
Well, that America Smash things, and then it also was perfect timing for the beginning of the POW movement.
Yeah.
Because that was it still is.
Yeah.
Such a huge deal, especially in communities where they still don't have kids that came home.
Right.
And so I think that it was really kind of a postcard to that.
Yeah.
To those people, while blowing up everything known to man.
Yeah.
I mean, I will say the actual action in the movie is staged fucking fantastic.
Oh, it's brilliant.
The action scenes are
Brilliant.
great.
It's polished. It looks great.
Even in
it
3.
looks good.
Oh, yeah.
3
It's
looks
that
awesome
80s
too.
polish.
Yeah, it's like one of the best 80s action movies,
Oh, yeah.
Like, so
80s polish is something that I wish I could see again in an action movie.
with actual real props and real backgrounds.
Yeah,
and,
yeah.
Well,
Let's
and
go to
actual
Tunisia
stunts.
and shoot a action movie set in the desert.
and revisiting this, because I mean, I remember seeing this once when I was young, going, "This is just ridiculous." Fuck
Oh,
this
it was
movie.
ridiculous.
This is stupid. I can't deal with this. I just had an issue with it. So going back to it and really sitting down and watching Rambo, like actively, like you said,
Yeah.
Michelle, I enjoyed it. I really did enjoy it. Fucking hate it still, but I mean, I can still enjoy it as a movie.
Yeah.
I mean,
it's not a masterpiece.
No.
It's a
But
shit message.
Like if
you don't
it
get
wasn't
bored.
a sequel,
You don't-
I think it would have been worked better out at like the story. Like if it was just
Yeah.
if just that was the first movie
A
and there was no
standalone.
like really good one before it, that was all like had subtext and stuff.
Well, imagine
and
if
then,
imagine if they swapped them.
Yeah. Oh.
First Blood could have been an amazing,
Oh, dude.
Oh,
an
that's a good
amazing
idea.
Empire Strikes Back.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Holy crap!
And then you have
man.
a mediocre Return of the Jedi with.
Can you imagine
Rambo
if,
3?
if there were Ewoks in Afghanistan? I mean,
There were. Did you watch the movie?
Yeah. No.
All right, so Rambo
sorry.
3.
That was in the Lucas cut of Rambo.
Yeah.
It
It
was
was.
CG
It was.
Ewoks.
And what was really funny is that there's actually a cameo by Howard the Duck.
No.
There's really not. I'm being a shit.
Rambo 3.
Yeah.
Speaking of hating movies, even more.
I'm your worst.
Okay, so Rambo
I'm your
3
worst nightmare.
But wait, Rambo
what-
2, Murdoch.
Yeah.
I'm coming for you.
Yeah,
Okay,
that's
yeah,
pretty
had to get
cool.
that out there. That's pretty badass. And that
coming
ending
for
scene
you.
when they just doused Rambo in baby oil.
Oh yeah.
When they just literally
Dude, he's
they
so
had a
ripped.
tank. They had a tank.
He gets
yeah,
more
was
and
cut.
more ripped
You know
in
what?
every movie.
And that's the thing. You know what? To Sylvester Stallone's credit, man, he fucking he carved himself out of wood.
Oh,
for
yeah.
this thing. So you know what?
He's also responsible for
Look
John
at him.
Travolta.
Look
He's
at
also
him.
responsible for
Look
John
at him.
Travolta getting in that kind of insane shape.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
You saw Staying Alive, right? The sequel to Saturday
Yeah.
Night Fever,
Mm-hmm.
where John Travolta looks like Stallone Jr. because Stallone frickin' directed the movie.
He was like,
that
you
is-
need to get
that-
your ass to the gym.
It's an Adonis,
Yeah.
straight up. I mean,
All
yeah.
right.
Okay, so yeah.
Michelle was introducing Rambo
sorry.
3.
Oh, that's
sorry.
okay.
No,
Well, now I forgot what I was gonna say.
Bastards.
No, just
we are bastards.
Well, so
Scott
Rambo
and I
3, he's
accept
just-
that.
He's extra oily in this one. He's even more fucking
Oh
ripped.
yeah.
What, in 3?
Oh my
Oh,
god,
yeah.
3's
See,
bigger.
I didn't get that. I thought Rambo, Rambo itself, that was the greasiest he ever was.
No,
man.
3.
No.
No,
He
3,
doesn't,
dude.
he doesn't wear a shirt for the whole movie. Basically.
What was really funny
wear-
too
yeah, he does wear a
is that
shirt
with
for it.
that amount of baby oil, you'd think the sand would stick to him
No.
nonstop
Never.
in that
No.
movie, but not a grain on
He's
him.
that strong.
Like, how does that
just
happen?
flexes them
There's
off.
no
the sand
wind.
bounces off of his
There's no wind
pecs.
in Afghanistan now.
There's no sand on my nipples.
There's some really, really, really awesome
Oh, there are
parts
some,
in this movie.
There are some great stuff in this movie.
I mean,
that-
there's-
it's a piece of shit. I mean, let's be completely honest.
Yeah.
3 really is a piece of shit.
Well, a lot of
But
it has the most
cinematically, it's
iconic
fun.
scene though. The one that everybody remembers is
gunpowder.
when he gets he pushes that shit out of his wound and then he
Oh, yeah.
cauterizes it
Oh,
with
yeah.
gunpowder and
That was
blows
hard.
it up.
That was
And
hard.
I love the him leaning back and the jet of flame
Yeah.
shooting out of his stomach.
That's fucking awesome.
hard.
that's-
I actually read about this. A doctor wrote something about this online and said that would never happen. That basically he put the gunpowder on it and it would just seal it shut. It would not blast out the other side.
but it's
it would
so
just
much
cauterize it.
cooler if you can see it.
I know.
They needed it for visual
Yeah.
reference and to call back First Blood.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah,
like-
well, sewing himself up in
Yeah.
First Blood.
Yeah, yeah.
Which is
And
another.
cauterizing himself with a hot knife.
There was a really, really hard. I don't want to go back to First Blood, but there was a scene where he jumps off the cliff and falls through the tree, and there's just that great cut where they see him. That's where that's where he rips the arm open, and
Yeah.
you just hear him go, "Oh Jesus!" He hits the fucking ground.
Oh, I see, for me it was that and the hunting the wild boar,
Oh gee.
which cracked me up. I grew up where the movie is supposed to take place. So that's like 4 miles from my house. Let me tell you the number one thing. There are no fucking boar in that part of Washington
yeah, Rambo
State.
killed
Yeah.
them all.
Rambo got them all.
There was
All right.
one and he got it.
All right, Rambo 3. Anyway,
Rambo
sorry,
3.
I didn't mean to fall back to that.
Otherwise known as Lust in the Dust.
It's known as the bad remake of Lawrence of Arabia.
Well,
Lawrence of Arabia? What?
of Arabia.
I will
oh
say
God, come on,
Rambo
dude.
has some badass action, especially like
Oh, yeah.
the
Yeah,
third
totally.
act. Fucking tank versus a helicopter.
Yeah,
Is
hard.
that not the coolest fucking thing ever? Because it is.
It is.
Well,
it is.
the one thing I threw down too, and this was in the
explosive arrows.
This
Yeah.
was in the third act also. Watching Rambo and Troutman face down an entire Soviet army is pretty badass. Watching Rambo say "fuck it" and run towards the enemy is worth the whole movie. Thankfully, the Mujahideen came to the rescue because I'm like, they're gonna die. I never seen Rambo 3 until this weekend. I just didn't
really?
give a
That was your
shit.
first time?
And I'm like, dude, it's over.
Yeah.
Okay, they're done.
You're like, oh, okay, this is where they can end.
Yeah, we're
this
done.
is how
And
they end the trilogy.
here comes the Mujahideen. Thousands of horses. I'm like,
Otherwise known as the Taliban.
yeah.
For everyone.
By the way, anyways,
So
basically, Rambo helped start the Taliban.
well, Rambo helped save the Taliban.
Oh, that's right. Okay.
which they dedicated at the end of the film.
To the glorious freedom
gallant,
fighters.
Yeah.
the gallant
Gallant.
people, the gallant people of Afghanistan.
yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I mean,
And-
they can't see the future. I mean,
No, that's not the point.
No,
that's
but it
just
still
funny.
ranks up there with the high school or the college pictures of Osama bin Laden in London dressed like a hippie. It ranks up there in irony.
One thing I noted too here, at my count, any other man would have been killed 4 times over in this film, not Rambo.
Rambo's invincible in this movie.
For example,
Yeah,
the tank
right?
and helicopter collision that would have wasted any of us.
Dude, he just walks out like
Not me.
nothing
No,
happened.
they cut to the scene of him laying in the tank like,
Believe it or not, if that
And then
happened to me, I just come out of it shredded.
Yeah.
I'd be like, the heat melts all the fat, and I just come out like, oh. I feel much better now.
A tank
Thank
ran
you.
into a helicopter at full speed. The G-forces on that, like, just being thrown,
Oh yeah.
it would have just turned. It would have turned any of us into just a pile of mush, man. There'd been nothing left. Not Rambo.
No, he's Rambo.
He should have been
All
killed.
that muscle means his bones are actually stronger than ours too.
Yeah, well, that too.
Yeah.
and the adamantium.
Yeah, exactly. Wolverine and Rambo have more in common than we thought.
They had a baby.
They had a baby.
This movie basically, to
They
me,
did.
was
It was called Commando.
the majority of this. To me, was really mainly Rambo and Trautman wandering around the desert. There was just so much.
Oh
of
yeah,
that.
yeah. Well, I mean, it was a pretty good lead up.
cave scene was
It was a
cool.
pretty good lead up to him actually saving Trautman.
Yeah.
Took a little while, but that
Yeah, he had-
cave scene is one of the best shot 80s, early 90s action scenes ever.
Yeah.
The lighting was spectacular. Everything about that was amazing, especially once he breaks out the glow sticks.
Yeah.
And you
What
start
does
getting
that do? It turns blue.
Yeah, I was going to say that.
it makes blue light.
Which they said, that was at the beginning of the film.
Yeah,
You're like,
and it was great. What does this do? it makes blue light.
Yeah.
It's amazing.
It is.
Well, at the time, those were like brand new.
Yeah.
No,
Those were newer.
No, they weren't. Dude,
Glow
I used to
sticks?
take them I used to have them trick or treating by that age.
Well, this was 1988.
1985.
No, we're talking about Rambo 3.
I thought it came out in 1985.
Oh, yeah, it was 90. No, Rambo first part. Well,
Maybe I'm
Rambo
thinking of
was
part
85. Rambo 3 was 88.
Oh.
So you know what? You're probably right. No, you're 100% right.
Yeah,
They were around for a number of years before.
Oh, yeah.
They were still cool though.
I mean, I'm sure they weren't like in all the corner stores in Afghanistan yet.
No. Turns blue.
The 7-Elevens there weren't quite stocking them yet.
Now, yeah, desert. I don't know what else to say about this movie.
Because Rambo 3 doesn't really have a lot to it. It's just
No, Rambo
like,
3 is so simplistic.
it's just basically they stole my mentor. I gotta go get him, and then they just basically cut like interspersed torture scenes with like Rambo coming to get him, and then the big explosion finale, and then they're like, oh, like it's like there's not really like it's just a bunch of action sequences strung together by a flimsy plot.
I do have a question though, and I was noticing this when I watched the first 3 all in a row.
Mm-hmm.
Why are these movies all so centered around helicopters?
Because they're cool.
because helicopters are awesome.
Well,
It's
in
just
that
hilarious.
time, helicopters were very.
Oh yeah, that was
Helicopters in the
high-tech.
80s were the shit.
Yeah.
Helicopters.
Airwolf,
Watch the A-Team, dude.
Blue
They-
Lightning, or
Yeah.
Blue Thunder.
Blue Thunder,
Blue
yeah.
Thunder.
The
Yeah.
A-Team had a helicopter they'd somehow find a helicopter to fuck with every episode,
Well,
man.
I mean, to the point where they needed a pilot as a crazy pilot is one of their main characters.
Murdoch. Was that his name? Was Murdoch?
Yeah.
Yeah,
It was Murdoch. Yeah.
Howlin' Mad Murdoch.
Yeah. There you go. Helicopters were just the thing, I think, back then.
Yeah.
It was just funny
And
though because
Michael
it was
Bay has
always
continued the tradition to this day.
like in the third act. Okay, time to bring out the helicopters.
And it's
like,
not just.
Well, I
not
think
just,
it's because the other films became derivative of the first films.
Yeah.
Like every Rambo film has like a helicopter in it, some kind of surgery done in not great conditions.
And punji sticks.
Yep. a montage of people dying because Rambo's doing shit to him. Like, there's like things that Rambo films were known for that they would kind of put into them.
It's like the weird bastard child of Rocky, where Rocky, every one of them has the training montage.
Yeah.
In Rambo, it has the murder montage.
Well, speaking of murder montage,
That is Rambo.
I think we should move to
Rambo.
2008. 20 years later, we are fed.
The second best Rambo movie there
Fucking
is.
ain't right.
Oh yeah.
Fucking ain't right. It's a goddamn gore fest too.
But they finally remembered what Rambo was about. You know, that's what I loved, is that he wasn't a well person in that movie.
No.
You know, and you could see it. I mean,
Well, now we had that
he
couple
was
with
so
age.
broken.
It's covered. Yeah, thank you. That's dude, literally. By this point in Rambo's life, he's a broken but still stoic and powerful.
Yeah.
But he's got the age factor though too on this.
And a bunch of HGH coursing through his veins.
Yeah.
So how old is he in this movie? Like, how old was Stallone?
Stallone is 72. He's 72.
No, yeah.
Stallone is 72 right
So,
now.
I mean,
So he would be
He's-
early 60s when they made that.
Dude, he's so fucking ginormous in that movie.
He is. Look at him in the Expendables. That
fucking
dude does
huge.
not know how to lose muscle
mass. Yeah.
Like-
he looked in this movie just. It's the
He-
best I think
he's-
he's ever looked in the franchise.
Yeah.
That is a. I literally
Like
put it on.
weathered.
He looks like a broken piece of meat.
He does.
I mean, just
He
a
does.
broken piece of
And,
meat.
and I
man.
love that they're not doing the gratuitous "I need my shirt off" crap.
No, it's dark again.
That he's wearing this black T-shirt that you can still tell that he's built, but you're not. That's not the focus.
And he
Right.
also switches out his blood red headband for a subdued one.
Yeah.
In the middle of the
Yeah.
film, like he has it in the beginning a little bit, because it's the iconic
for the
thing.
for the stick fight.
Yeah.
we see in this film too. I think John Rambo at this point in his life literally has no faith in humanity, and he says
None.
it too. He
None.
says it. They're like,
He says, "Why you doing that? There's no point."
yeah, and they're like,
Nothing's gonna
it's your
change.
chance to help humanity, and he walks away and says, "Fuck humanity." He literally said,
Yeah,
"Fuck humanity."
Yeah.
I don't care.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah, it was-
he, at this point, he is completely. He's just pure nihilism. He don't give a shit. It don't matter.
He's
it's over.
there to live, and that's it.
Yeah.
Yep.
It makes you wonder why he hadn't committed suicide at that point. Like, I know that's what's going through his
He
mind.
did. He tried to commit suicide, but he's so fucking
He's
strong
fucking Rambo.
that he just keeps surviving.
He just don't die.
He doesn't
The
die.
bitch was he shot himself in the head and then he cauterized it.
Yeah.
So wait, if you actually shoot the bullet in your head instead of just using the gunpowder separately, then it's
It won't cauterize
is that
anything.
like the middleman? You're cutting out the middleman there?
Yeah.
Or?
Yeah. You're,
We're overthinking the hell out of this.
but
I don't
no,
think
Rambo.
you'll
this movie, this
movie's
it
so
was
awesome.
It was such a great way of reconnecting him to humanity.
Yeah.
Where 2 seemed like it was this half-assed attempt at showing him getting a little catharsis, and then this one they do it. Like the way they handled him not wanting to help, him not wanting to be human anymore, him just wanting to be that guy that has a boat.
Yeah.
And him going from that to, holy crap, I put these people in this situation.
Yeah,
I
I'm
need to
responsible.
get them out.
Well, he didn't even take any money. If you heard that when they were
Yeah,
on the
he
boat,
refused her money.
They're like, he won't take our money.
Yeah. No, well, she told him that.
Yeah.
Because the one guy's like, you took our money, you did it. And she looks at me, he's like, yeah, actually, he didn't take our
He
money.
didn't take our money.
You know,
The gratuitous,
the violence is just outrageous.
the disturbing
in this movie.
factor of this movie, it opens up with a horrible game. Mm-hmm. Really unspeakable, you know.
Yeah.
And again, I never saw until this weekend. I never saw this movie.
Oh shit.
I never
okay.
saw.
I
didn't
saw
give
it-
a
I
fuck
saw it in
about these
theaters.
movies growing up. I didn't.
I
care.
saw it when it came out in the theater.
didn't
Yeah, me
care.
too. I saw it opening night.
Yeah.
me too.
The funny thing is about this movie, like, in First Blood, he's hurting these cops and stuff, and you kind of still feel bad for him because, like, they're
He's
just
still a
normal
victim.
everyday people, and they don't really know how to deal with this whole thing. And then in First Blood 2, still kind of the same thing. Like, he's going back and like infiltrating their base, you know? By the time you get to the fourth one, Rambo, like when he cuts those fuckers down at the end of the movie, you're like, you actually feel like they deserve it.
They deserve
every
I mean, they
bit
make
of
them
this.
cartoonishly evil. Like they're like throwing babies in the fire and then lighting them on fire and having rape parties and like they and
yeah.
and like
Every
raping
horrible thing
kids
you can
and
think of.
stabbing kids.
Yeah.
Like they of course.
and
but they
of
have
course
to
the
do
gay
that.
the gay pedophile.
Oh yeah, we saw that
boss.
too. Yeah, we
Well,
saw
they
that
have
too.
to do that. They have to establish these guys to be that evil because what Rambo does them is so fucking horrific. Like
Oh,
you
yeah.
have to have that
Oh, yeah.
disconnect between them as people. But in actuality, like it is like a little tidbit about the film. It was banned in Burma for the longest time.
I wonder why.
Really?
But but there's more to the story. Is they banned the film and the Burmese resistance force which is a real thing because the Burmese government is corrupt. And then there was a
incredibly.
resistance force that made bootleg copies of Rambo and passed them out amongst the people. And they even adopted some of Rambo's sayings as their official sayings for their resistance force.
Good.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
Good.
Like
That's great.
and I you know and Sylvester Stallone was like really like, you know, wow, taken ababack by like how
Yeah.
much of an impact because you know there all that stuff's going on there.
Yeah. Oh,
There's like this really interesting I don't want to say it's bad, but so like, you know, Rambo's coming in and he's coming in with these white Christians, right?
Yep.
And they're coming I don't want to go off into a tangent about that, but I get irritated by like Christian groups that come in and they're like, oh, we're going to help you, except that you have to also believe in our religion. Like they're not just helping them just cause they're also trying to like shove their religion on them.
Yeah.
And that scene
somehow
was like,
it's like missionaries and medicine.
Yeah.
You have to take both.
but take the Bible too.
Yeah.
I know this makes me sound like an asshole. Oh,
No, it
I'm
makes-
sorry.
No, it
makes
doesn't
sense.
at all.
Logical thinking person.
You're preaching to the choir.
Yeah.
But I mean, I get it though. I get what they're trying to do, but I guess a lot of that doesn't sit well with me. That aside, it's just interesting to see like all these white people got put in situations that they were like had no idea like what it was gonna be like.
Yeah,
So like you
yeah.
have Rambo saving these white people, and then like there's this one part that just kind of bugs me is that like so so all those guys are having like that thing where they throw up the red flare and they're raping all those women.
Yeah.
And like so there's like 10 chicks getting raped and Rambo doesn't give a fuck. And there's like and then the one white lady, oh my god, she's getting raped, better save her. And he just leaves those other girls. Like I
Yeah,
know he gets
yeah,
them later, but that just bugs me. Like
Yeah,
like one white life is worth 10 brown people, I guess.
That's what that was one of my takeaways too. Was
Like, it
as I'm
just
watching
bothers
it and I'm
me.
like, wouldn't it have been easy to take out almost
Yeah.
all of those soldiers when they literally had their pants down?
Well, and they were all shit faced too.
They're drunk.
They're
They're
fucking drunk as
raping
hell.
these girls. You have 6 guys with very nice guns
Yeah.
that are very good with those guns.
yeah.
Wouldn't it have been easy to go in, save those girls, and take out 90% of this army?
I mean, I don't know. Is that a weird thing to be mad about? I don't
No,
know.
That
I'm
would
not-
have ended the movie though.
I guess I'm not mad. I'm just like thought it was like kind of just a
It was
weird
a little
narrative
disturbing.
thing. Like you
The whole
know.
damn movie's disturbing.
Yeah.
The whole dude. I mean, I'm like, this movie got hard to watch after a while.
Yeah.
It was so fucking hard.
And the supporting cast in it was so good.
that what's the I don't have the names.
The asshole Australian guy.
Yeah.
Oh,
He was
yeah.
fantastic.
Every Australian guy's an asshole in every movie. Ever notice that? There's
Ain't
one
that the
Australian
truth?
guy. There's always an asshole.
No,
That guy was
no,
awesome.
No,
He was
that's the
awesome.
Brits. Come on, Star Wars. I mean, historically, British people are the bad guys because they're the Empire. Like and I don't just mean in Star Wars. I mean they are the Empire,
They're
and the
colonizers.
Australians are just kind of an offshoot. They're like evil Empire light.
They're like store brand British people.
Exactly.
They're like
Exactly.
the Kroger brand.
They're exactly. I was going to say they're Labatt's Blue, but you know.
We have John Rambo in this movie though, and speaking of that, look that up for me, please.
Which one?
The Australian guy in that movie. I hate to just keep saying the Australian guy.
He was great. The sniper was the guy
Yeah,
that
that was cool.
He had
and-
a 50 cal sniper rifle.
I think it was
right?
He
massive.
did. That
'Cause
thing
shit
was
blowing
a
motherfuckers up.
Yeah.
beast. And I
Fucking
mean, it was
headshot
totally
blows that guy's
unrealistic
head
how,
up. Yeah.
Well,
there's
the
nothing
gore
funnier.
was ridiculous. It was just heads
There's nothing
exploding
funnier
everywhere.
to me than wire work and gunfights. Like dudes are shot and then pulled 8 feet backwards.
Oh, it was Graham McTavish.
Okay.
Okay.
Was it Lewis or was it Schoolboy?
Schoolboy is the
Schoolboy.
sniper.
He was.
That's the sniper.
Yes, you're right. You're right. You're 100% right.
Yeah.
Lewis Graham McTavish. Yeah, that's who it is.
And then the Asian guy. I can't remember his name. That's one of the mercs. That
Tim
dude,
King.
Tim, is that his name?
Yep.
Tim King is great in everything I've seen.
Yeah,
him
he
in.
is. He really
and he's
is.
showing up everywhere. Like every time I watch something, it's like, holy crap, he's in this one too. Like he's in Wonder Woman. He's in Captain America: First Avenger. He's in like 3 different TV shows in the last 6 months. Like literally, I turn on the TV and I'm like, holy crap, there he is.
Well, I can't.
Fortunately, he's
that,
good.
Though. I can't overstate this character, though. It really, like we've been saying, and that's really, I think, the main point of this of Rambo is that this really is next to First Blood. It's that same mood as far as
that
how
dark.
John Rambo, with the Australian guy. I was going to call the Australian guy.
Yeah.
That whole scene on
McTavish.
the boat, he's just sitting there talking shit to him, and he's just not saying a word.
And he doesn't have to.
No.
And he has that look on his face that you know.
He's like, well, he even says, he's like, don't give me that 1,000-yard stare. I've
You
seen
don't
that
scare
before. You
me.
don't scare me, all that shit.
Yeah.
And then, a little
All that
while
tough
later,
guy bullshit.
he takes out five soldiers in the span of like 10 seconds with his bow and arrow.
Yeah, and everybody looking at him like,
holy shit.
Like,
Yeah.
goddamn.
Yeah.
How did that happen?
Yeah. By this point,
I thought
mean,
you were the boatman.
Yeah, you're the boatman. I mean, at this point, you got to think like this is 20 years. At least in the as far as the films are concerned. What else
It
is
seems
this?
like it was 20 years.
What
in the
else
movie,
is
too.
this? Yeah, what else has this guy seen in those 20 years? I mean,
Well,
he
apparently,
obviously go ahead.
he's seen what's going on in Burma. He
Yeah.
knows what's happening.
Yeah.
He knows how to deal with the pirates.
the whole pirate scene. Holy
The pirate scene.
shit.
That pirate scene was mind blowing, and I loved the reaction of the missionaries, where
They're still stuck in that mindset.
they're stuck in that mindset of
Yeah.
this is absolutely not okay, and I'm going to tell the authorities.
Yeah.
Fuck you.
I'm like, you're gonna tell who?
What
Like,
authorities?
yeah. He just killed pirates.
Well, that's also like a really good, way to show how people, how ignorant people are sitting here in their chair, all comfortable with their smartphone,
Yeah.
and there's like this actual like horrible atrocity, and then
Yeah.
they think they're just gonna roll up in there and
And
They're
save the
like,
day.
I know
save
how to
the day.
fix this.
and pray, and pray it away and save it away. When actually they don't understand like just how deep that goes. You
Oh
know?
yeah. And they don't realize that the corruption is absolute.
naive optimism.
Yeah. And there's this level of almost superiority, especially on the doctor, where he was just
Oh yeah, a total dick.
he was horrible.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But you
Horrible.
see, I think you see quickly though when he gets in the middle of that, all hell breaks loose.
Once he decides he'd rather live,
Yeah.
all of a sudden he becomes an animal and smashes
And you see
the
that,
guy in the head
you
with
see
a
that
rock.
scene, and that really was such a definitive scene for that character.
Yeah.
You see him finally come unhinged, going, "I have to survive,"
I need to live. I want.
Wow.
My friend just died. I want to live.
and he even has that realization. He smashes this dude's head in with a rock.
Yeah.
and you even see he stops for a second. And he's like, "Oh my God, what have I done?"
Well,
Like,
I
he still
think this
questions
one.
himself. Yeah, for a second. Yeah.
I think this one's cool too because it does kind of break away from the entire Rambo is by himself doing all of this thing.
Yeah.
Like this time he actually has,
team.
this small band of guys with him, even though he will outwit and destroy all of them like that if he wants to.
He saved them all though.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well,
But
not
he
all.
has other
Most.
people with him and, the people that he's saving start to fight back too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that's never happened in any of the other movies. It's always been
He
him.
becomes an inspirational.
Yeah.
In the movie, instead of being an outcast, all of a sudden he finds his humanity. And not only does he connect with humanity, he inspires humanity, and that combination creates that amazing.
Well, that's what we get, and that's where we get the last scene in the jungle where he's just standing there on top of the hill, and they're all looking up at him, going,
Yeah.
"Thank you."
Yeah, and
But I
everybody.
think he also like realizes the futility of what he's doing because this is just a cycle.
Yeah.
And this is just one
Great.
and
He just
another
was one fight.
It's just another one fight, and there's going to be more. And I think he just looks at it and says, "I don't want to be a part of this anymore," because he knows that it's not going to end.
Which brings us to that amazing ending.
Oh man,
That so mimics the opening of the first Rambo.
Yep.
Him in the jeans, his fatigue jacket,
Yep. The whole thing. Hair.
Some cool dad jeans.
Yep.
the rockin' dad jeans, and his sea bag.
Yep.
Walking down the street and goes home.
Yep.
Like his.
And I won't lie, I choked a little bit. I was like,
Oh yeah, that
dude,
was
hard.
That scene was brutal.
Yeah. That.
And it was just such a touching thing because he sits there and stares at that mailbox, and you don't know if he's going to turn around and walk away, or if he's going to accept that he has a life there that he could go.
He can
be
pick
part
back
of.
up again. Yeah.
Yeah.
You know, and live. Live. Dare I say the word peace?
Yeah, he could be.
In some type of safety. You know, I don't think at this point, and this is what I was thinking of when I saw him. Like, this guy don't owe anybody shit anymore. He's done the work. He's done.
But we all know that 5 is actually
Yeah,
happening.
I know. 2019.
Yep. We are getting Rambo 5.
Can he just maybe he get married, domestic argument? You know, he can just battle that out in the house.
That
He's
would
turned
be
into a
No,
drama.
he's back.
No, it needs to be Gran Torino version of Rambo.
Fucking A, I'm there.
Just him on his front porch yelling at kids to get off his yard.
Sounds great.
And mentoring somebody.
But he's
Great.
battling the Mexican cartel. That's what it is.
Is that what the plot is?
Yeah.
It makes sense for where home is.
It'd be really interesting
Yeah,
if
Arizona.
instead of actually going into the battle himself, he becomes part of the system and actually is like behind the scenes working and has to send other people in there.
What would be really interesting is if he's a sheriff.
Oh.
If
I
he
doubt they're going to be that
becomes
smart
the
about
sheriff.
it.
I don't. Stallone is
Mexico-
co-writing the script, and that dude can write.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Like-
he can.
like-
He really can. He really can.
I mean,
write.
he directed the last one, and it was fantastically directed. Like,
And he wrote it.
God, it
yeah,
looks so good.
so it's good, you know.
Yeah. I mean, it's amazing to me that, like, this guy who we all consider kind of a doofus, especially when you watch most of his movies, he's just kind of this...
A himbo.
Yeah. And he's this lumbering, poorly spoken dude. And then
Brilliant man.
Then you realize like what he's done.
Yeah.
You're like, holy crap. And like in First Blood, the speech at the end of the movie,
Yeah.
that wasn't the speech that was in the original script.
Okay.
They didn't like what was there. He hated what was there. So he rewrote that whole end speech.
Yeah.
So that's all
It's all him.
Stallone.
Yeah.
I mean, look at just Rocky. I mean, there's one bad Rocky movie, and it's the one he had the least to do with the production of.
What was that? 5?
Five.
Yeah.
5. I mean, they're not all great, but 5 is a steaming pile of shit.
It is.
Well, I know coming out of this myself, I can't sit here and say that I freaking hate 2 and 3. but I didn't get, 3 got a little slow in some points. 2, it didn't bore me. I mean, I'm thinking, oh God, just greasy, whatever. And that's just jealousy.
It really is. It is on my part too.
Jealousy. I'm
You just
completely
like start
jealous.
like
I
doing
remember
push-ups
back
while
when
you're
I was
watching it.
built, and I'm like, oh,
Yeah, it's a bummer because you're like, God, he looks so good. But you do. I know I personally have, gotten some appreciation for these films for what they are, for the deeper meaning, especially First Blood. And I mean, that's the one I have
First Blood
watched.
and Rambo.
I've watched that a handful of times, First Blood, and I appreciate it for what there was a message within that movie. And there's a message with it, that weaves through all these films of this man, John Rambo, and what the fuck he's had to put up with his whole life,
yeah, and getting dragged back in.
And all he knows is this.
Yeah.
That's all he knows. He don't know how to. That's clear. He can't do anything. He can't function any other way. Maybe at the end of Rambo, maybe like you said, he found he found his humanity, and he's finally like, okay, I've had enough of this. I can leave this thing now and be a functioning person.
See, what
Work
I
on a
do,
farm,
like with this 5, kind of what I hope is that it's really about him defending what he cares about.
Yeah.
Instead of it being him defending what other people care about.
From what I understand, it's going to be that he does have family, and they are caught up in something in Mexico with the cartel, and it's him going to.
Well, Mexico, I'm sorry, but
You're fucked.
in 2019, you're all gonna die.
So it's gonna be like some kind of like Taken type of thing going on.
Maybe.
Because every movie is like Taken now, basically. Like every.
Well,
It feels like it.
you know,
just
the
remaking
original Rambo 5 script they had was about him hunting a creature,
Oh God.
and they scrapped it.
Thank
Like,
you.
it was going to go
Thank
like
you.
sci-fi horror.
No, what
Yeah.
they needed to
I'm
do
not gonna
was
lie, I
do
would have
Rambo
watched
versus
that super
Predator.
hard.
Yeah, I would say.
They need to do Rambo versus Predator. Come on. We've already had Schwarzenegger fight him. Now let's see how Stallone would do.
I think I don't think the Predator would stand a chance.
No, not if
Fuck
history is any indication.
Predator's gonna walk in there with all that high tech shit, and he's gonna come in there with the knife.
Yeah,
That's
he'll
it.
have his foot long Bowie knife and
And
just
that's it.
destroy.
Yeah, his Amir's knife was getting bigger too.
Oh
Every
yeah, it
movie
was
got bigger and
totally.
bigger.
That shit was like a machete in the last one. I
Yeah,
was
the
like,
last one when he makes it was a machete.
oh, dude, can we just
It
like
was.
when he fucking disembowels that dude and fucking kicks him in his guts, and he's got a little piece of guts hanging off his shit. I was
Yeah.
like, damn. I was like, ugh.
That movie had a few scenes. The last one had a few
So
scenes where
fucking
I
hard to
was
watch.
just like,
Oh, when he first gets the 50 cal in the back of the car, he just liquefies that fucking guy in the front.
Dude, holy crap!
And there's like shit all over his shield. There's like brains
He turns
and
into
guts.
nothing but splat.
Yeah.
and it's
Yeah.
all over the it's all over the
that
front
was
of
a
the
whole new meaning to Pink Mist.
That's probably one of the coolest action scenes ever. It's just
Well, and
fucking
look at his
mowing
face.
people. Yeah.
It's just mowing them down, and
Yeah.
just that beautiful.
and that lip goes up again.
It's just just
I'm
beautiful.
gonna kill you all.
And you're just watching people exploding. Just
Yeah.
boom,
Yeah.
boom. I'm like, what in the hell, man? Yeah, that movie, I didn't expect that. Like I said, I never saw it.
Nobody
until,
did.
I'm sorry, not this week. I never saw it until last night.
Yeah. When I
Wow.
first saw it, I was like, what the? What?
I wasn't ready for it. I've seen, because if you look at 1, 2, and 3, let's just call them those,
Yeah.
there's some blood.
Yeah, but they're not
But it's very
horribly.
It's not realistic,
They throw so
though.
many.
No.
That's the one thing my dad used to say about the A-Team when I was a kid. My dad said they throw more lead in that TV
Yeah,
show every
yeah.
week, and you never see one person get killed.
Oh, it's like G.I. Joe the cartoon,
Yeah.
just live action.
We get the same idea, I think, with the Rambo films, where you see a lot of lead get thrown around, but it wasn't. The first 3 were not that gory.
No.
No,
we
they
had
were
the
more
scenes.
just straight 80s action.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There's some things like disturbing to sewing
Well, I
yourself.
mean,
Whoa,
the biggest
hard,
gore in 3 was
Was the back.
was him pushing that
Yeah.
stick out of his side.
Yeah.
But other
Yeah.
than that,
Yeah.
But 4 is like grindhouse level
insane.
violence. Like,
it's 1970s.
Yeah.
Robert
Like,
Rodriguez,
straight
very
up.
reminiscent of the Robert Rodriguez approach to gore, where like if you've seen like Planet Terror,
Yeah,
the
I
yeah.
haven't seen anything.
those are the
Except
same
for Spy
effects,
Kids.
just heads exploding,
Yeah.
and like that
Those
viscous
people
blood.
just getting cut in half.
Yo,
dude.
yeah.
Just ripped in half, and you see their torso is just flying everywhere.
When
Yeah.
or that in the beginning when they're making those people run through the minefield,
Oh,
and some
God,
of
it
the
was
ones like
horrible.
arms and shit flying around, like God damn.
Yeah.
All right, enough.
No,
I'm getting
that was
bummed
horrible.
out.
And they
That
do
movie
that.
was-
That stuff happens, though. That's what's
Yeah.
crazy.
It's terrible.
You know?
It's terrible. It's
Which was part of why I was like, this is terrible, but you should probably watch it.
yeah. I'm glad I
You know.
did,
You know,
because there'd be no way you could go into a conversation like this without seeing that last Rambo film.
Maybe
You
the
have to see
only
it.
person that does war as gory is maybe like Mel Gibson.
Yeah.
Oh, God.
yeah, and
Oh.
it's for the same purpose too, which is
Yeah.
interesting. Is that whole war is hell. That war has consequences, and it's nice to see it occasionally in a movie.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know, like, don't glorify it, make it fucking horrible,
Because it is.
because it is.
And that movie is Rambo. The last Rambo it's a horrible film. Not as I like it actually, but it's a horrible film. It's a hard film to watch.
Oh, it's hard.
It's
hard.
a tough watch.
Yeah,
So okay.
it's
I think
almost
we're
as hard
good.
as Chris.
Yeah.
I mean, what's there? I mean, as
Almost.
far as Rambo, like, I know I've kind of been very clear about how I feel about, but I've come out myself with a new appreciation for it. They're
That's
not
good.
just, Rambo Part 2. Like I said, that to me was so cartoonish. It was so over the top. It was so flamboyant. But it was fun to watch.
Yeah.
I think that's kind of where we,
It hadn't like jumped the shark quite yet, where Rambo 3 did
Oh, it was ridiculous.
literally just go right over the top of the shark. Like,
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Rambo is now a superhero. He can survive
Yeah.
anything.
And,
Anything.
And there's, there are some weird things. We didn't mention that with Rambo 3 too. Like the very beginning, where Trotman's looking for him and he's fighting. He's doing competitive fighting with the sticks and stuff.
Yeah.
And he kicks the shit out of the guy. And there's I'm really mad that we didn't mention this in the first place. He kicks the shit out of this guy. He can destroy him. And he puts the stick down there and gives him a hand. Brings him up.
Yeah.
And there's that look there. They like on mutual respect. Like,
yeah.
So maybe, I don't know. He had humanity there. He could have killed that guy. They would have loved it. He probably would have got paid like a bunch of more money to kill the guy.
Probably.
But he didn't. He takes the money that he earned from that fight. He was civil with that guy. They basically shook hands.
Yeah.
Walks away.
They might as well fucking hugged.
Yeah, they might as well. You're right. Gives the money to the monks or the
Yep.
Buddhists.
Yep.
It gives it to them, and he's basically working for those guys for free.
Yep.
So there's that whole sequence there where you're like, how the fuck did you end up here?
Well, I mean, it's actually a logical conclusion from the end of 2, or is it 3, where they find him at the Buddhist temple.
No, that was 3. That's where he was
3.
at the very beginning.
Yeah.
So I mean, he just went back there.
Yeah. Actually,
You know?
right. Yeah, it makes sense. That's a great sequence, though. I mean, we didn't mention that previously. That's a great
That
sequence.
stick fighting scene was great.
Yeah, that was fun to watch.
It was.
So, all right.
All right. Let's wrap
this was
this
like
up.
running a race, man. I knew we
Yeah.
were going to be just riffing on this thing
Yeah.
hard.
Oh, yeah.
So.
It's all good.
Good flicks, though. Sylvester
All right.
Stallone really is he is an enigma, and I don't think he does, like you said, he don't get the credit that he deserves as a brilliant man. He
I mean,
really
the problem
is
is
And
that
an
he
artist.
keeps doing shit like Demolition Man,
Well, yeah.
and
I like Demolition.
I love Demolition Man, but it's really hard to take it seriously.
Oh, you can't.
You know.
I like Demolition Man.
Yeah.
Or Judge Dredd.
I am the law.
I am the law.
I am the law. You got to say it without moving your mouth. I am the law.
Expendables were fun to watch too.
Oh,
all
the
3 of those.
Expendables
Yeah,
are
they're
brilliant.
I've
really
never
fun to
seen
watch.
any of the Expendables.
They're
Oh,
fun.
Those movies.
they are 1970s.
They're ridiculous.
They look
remastered.
like something I'd be into.
They're fun to watch. You'll enjoy the
They
shit
are.
out of them, Michelle.
They're
Watch all
so
3.
great. And
Except for
Jet Li-
Ronda Rousey, that was just they
Yeah.
inserted her in there and
Just to throw her in there.
just to throw her
Yeah.
in there, and we saw how that all worked out.
Yeah.
All right.
well,
All right, let's wrap this up. This was episode 87 of Real Crime. We'll be back next week with a show on
Porno.
Kevin Smith.
Oh,
Kevin Smith. All right.
All right, I just decided.
you guys are gonna kill me with that one.
All right,
Oh,
guys.
yes, we will.
Have a good night.
Visit us at www.themoviesleuth.com and find The Movie Sleuth on Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, and iTunes.